All right, and we are back. We just did our energy exchange, and we found that conflict was the energy that the collective would most benefit from having cleared today. And I guess, unsurprisingly, the replacement energy was peace. And so now we can look at what is the root of that conflict, because we're doing a clearing for a specific part of the collective today. And we're going to say, for this particular collective, what is the conflict specifically, and what is the root of that conflict? And then we can look at how open are we to peace, and are we blocked to peace? Because if we're not open to peace, and if we have any blocks to it, well, then you can do as many breathwork exercises as you want, but you're probably not going to have a ton of success, at least past that very present moment that you're doing that breathwork exercise in. So that is when we take our pendulum and I go to my spiritual response technique charts, and we begin the process of diving into the collective subconscious to figure out what is going on here. What is the root of this conflict, and how open or blocked are we to bringing that peace in its place? So I have two dogs with me right now. This is Miss Beezy, the Chihuahua, and I also have Rosie, who we know very well, my dog Rosie. And so we're going to see how this goes, getting through this clearing right now with these friends who probably really need my attention right now. So I'm just going to go to my chart 1, and I'm going to ask, what's the root of this conflict? We're going to chart 2, which is called Themes, Challenges, and Soul Qualities. And we're going to say, what is the energy that nope, we're not. We're going to say, what's the root of this conflict? What is the root of this conflict? Wow, this is intense. So personal integrity. Whew, I needed to take a breath when I said that. And so what percent is the collective operating from a place of personal integrity? What percent are we operating from a place of personal integrity? None, not at all. And that's creating this conflict. The root of this conflict is that you, or whoever you are in this conflict with, is not acting in integrity. Not acting in integrity, which is causing this conflict. Oh, interesting. Is this internal conflict with ourselves for not having integrity, or is this external conflict with someone else? No, this is strictly internal conflict you're having with yourself. Hi. Wow. I just feel like I called people out. That's not what I was expecting this clearing to be about at all. I was actually just watching a video about dropping bombs on Venezuelan boats, so I figured that's what this clearing was about, but no. This clearing is about internal conflict that whoever is watching this may be feeling because they are not living in integrity. And that is creating a total lack of peace inside of themselves. And I know this because I've been there. I have been there. I have been that person who was doing things that I knew were out of integrity. And for me, it related specifically to relationships. And for many of you, it could be the same thing. You're either staying in a relationship that is not in your highest good. You're involved with someone that you should not be involved with. Maybe you're not having integrity at work. Maybe you're not having integrity in your home life with your family. Whatever the case may be, you know who you are. You know who you are. You know why this is coming across your FYP. There's some internal conflict here about your own integrity. So now that we know the root, we can say, what do we do? What do we do to clear us from, our integrity, to clear us the blocks to our integrity? That's what I want to say. So what can we do to clear us of our blocks to integrity? So where do we even start here? So we're going to chart 20. Going to chart 20, and we're going to say, what are the blocks to our integrity? What's blocking us? Programming, type 1 and 2 at the 1 level. And I know, what do those words mean, Kate? What do those words mean? But really, it's just deep-seated programming. And all we're going to say is spirit clear it. And again, for me, that means defrag, get rid of, delete, erase anything that is telling us that it is better for us to act out of integrity than in integrity. Anything that is telling us, the words, the thoughts, the feelings, the impressions, the influences of anything or anyone that is telling us that we should, for any reason, be operating outside of integrity. Our fear could be a program that is telling us that we should be operating outside of our integrity. So what percent of the collective is operating out of integrity based on fear? Like 90%. So there you go. So we're releasing everybody from any fear, again, any outdated belief system, any cultural influence, internal or external, any past life influence that is telling us that there's any kind of a reason to not be fully in our integrity. Okay, so now what else can we do here to unblock us to our own integrity Okay, we're going to chart 8B. Well, that's funny. That's what I just opened to. And so now we're looking at, wow, is this sympathy or depression? It's depression. That's what I thought. So we're clearing depression. We're clearing alcoholism or addiction. We're clearing injustice, frustration, fear of life. We're clearing guilt, helplessness, illness, and health abuse. And these are all negative potentials that we manifest when we aren't acting in our integrity. These are all negative potentials that can transform our lives in not great ways when we are not acting in our integrity. And so, of course, when you're not acting in your integrity, you're experiencing depression. Of course, when you're not acting in your integrity, you're more likely to have an addiction and struggle with alcohol or drugs. Of course, when you're struggling with your integrity, you are creating the energy of injustice, most likely. You're going to have frustrations. You're going to have fear of life and of living. You're going to have guilt, helplessness, illness, and health abuse. The most ill I have ever been in my entire life is when I was acting out of integrity. So yeah, that's the negative potential you manifest when you don't act in integrity. And we're clearing all of those energies now. And we're clearing your addictions and your attractions to those energies. Because some of you may just be in a loop. You've now become addicted to the energy of health abuse, addiction. You know, you maybe become obsessed with the energy of guilt and frustration because that's what you know. It's what's comfortable. It's like the mask you wear. It's the uniform you wear. It's the contract you've signed up for. So that's what you do. Because you're not even thinking anything different than that. You're not acting in your conscious, awake, aware mind. You are letting your lack of integrity run the show. And that is then all those things as what now is being manifested in your life. Maybe not all of them, but at least some of them. So we're just asking for a clearing for that now and to give all of you strength to be able to step outside of those addictions, attractions, and energies to be able to really, truly step into a life of integrity. And I'm telling you, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. It feels so much better. And not that life's challenges go away when you act out of integrity, certainly not. But the ability to not have guilt because you are acting in integrity is, it's so worthwhile. It's so worthwhile. Okay, so the thing that came up here on this chart was an unwillingness to accept change. And so some of you may be struggling. You may be going, yeah, Kate, I totally get this. You're exactly right. I feel seen. I feel called out. But I'm scared. I'm scared of making the change. Because how do you go from acting out of integrity to acting in integrity when maybe the mask you have worn for so long that you're worried, will people even know who I am if I come out with the truth? If I come out as my authentic self, will I be excommunicated? Will I shake up the whole root of everything that I am and everything that I've built when I suddenly start acting in integrity? So I understand that fear. I do understand that fear. And I would encourage you to go back to Grandma's good advice from yesterday, which was have faith. Have faith that when you stand in your integrity and you make that change, there is nothing to be afraid of. Because yeah, maybe at first it will be jarring, it will be shattering, it will be shocking. There will be people who you cannot have in your life anymore. And it will feel so, so good to release yourself from that guilt and that shame that you will no longer have to carry when you're acting in integrity. Because guilt and shame are the first things that go when we start standing in our authority and standing in our integrity. It's beautiful. It feels so stinking good. Oh, when you've been carrying guilt and shame for a really long time and then you're released from them, there is nothing better. It's like the most magical feeling in the world. All right, abdication of mental responsibility is what's come up. So we're basically just trying not to think about it. We're not taking accountability for our thoughts, for our, the way that we have manifested all of this stuff into our life. We're just not thinking about it. We're dissociating, if you will. We're just saying, nah, if I just don't think about it. If I just don't think about how deeply I am acting out of integrity. If I just push that guilt down. If I just push that shame down. If I just push down the small voice inside of me that's saying, why are you doing this? This isn't you. This isn't your true character. This isn't your true nature. This isn't what you want. This isn't who you are. So when we stop pushing that down, we can take responsibility for ourselves, take responsibility for who we are, for our actions, for our thoughts, for our belief system. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So now what percent are we open to our integrity? Oof, 80%. Jeez. Okay. So now what do we got to do to get us 100% open to our integrity? Chart 10B. Well, I just flipped to that. How beautiful. Archetypes, race, beliefs, and scarring. Is there one of these archetypes, race, beliefs, or scarring? And I'm just using my eyeballs to look. So scarring. Scarring. There's actual scarring related to this. There is scarring. It's so interesting. It makes me think of when you have scar tissue and it prevents smooth movement, right? Like if you have a really bad scar, let's say on 40 or 50% of your hand, you're no longer going to have full smooth range of motion. It's going to get sticky. It's going to get stuck. So when we're looking at this and we're saying, wow, why are we not open fully to our integrity? There's some scarring there. There is something that has happened along the way to have scarred us on a deep level, heart, mind, spirit, soul. And that scarring is preventing that forward movement is preventing the change, right? Is preventing our openness to being in our integrity. And so I'm just using the power of my heart, my mind to be able to, send softening, smoothing of that scarring to really actually just cut that scarring away and say, we really can't have any of it anymore. So we release all of us from any traumas, any imprints, any horrifying experiences that scarred us so deeply that we didn't feel like we could stand in our integrity. Oh, that's so true and that's so beautiful. Because I know for me, I wasn't not acting in my integrity because it was like some part of who I was. I wasn't trying to gain anything. That wasn't it at all. What I was trying to do was trying to avoid loss and loneliness and sadness. I was staying in relationships that I did not want to be in because I was so afraid of being alone, and I was so afraid of loss, and I was so afraid of, facing the reality of a life, where I had to face my integrity. That was why I was, not acting in my truest nature. And so I would really encourage all of you to be thinking about that and to be thinking about, how can I release myself from all of my pain and all of my trauma so that I can move forward in integrity and I don't have to be afraid and I don't have to be stuck. So now what percent are we open to our integrity? What percent are we now open to our integrity? 100%. What percent are we blocked to our integrity? 0%. Wonderful. So now what percent are we open to giving ourselves peace? Wow, 100%. So that's beautiful. What percent are we blocked to our peace? 100%. So let's look at the blocks to peace and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so we're going to go to chart 15. Chart 15. So again, we're looking at any of our blocks to peace. What are our blocks to peace? So interesting. So it's so funny that this chart is coming up because I've added the elements and some of the symbols from tarot, the swords, the cups, the wands, and the pentacles. And what just came up was the swords, which is the imbalance. And so the note that I wrote is an imbalance of the air element, the imbalance of movement, the imbalance of our mind. And this is what already came up, right? Abdicating mental responsibility. And now what this is saying to me is there's also this imbalance of our mind is just not in a balanced state when it comes to allowing ourselves to have peace about our integrity. Allowing ourselves to have peace when we think about being who we are, it's in our mind. If this had come up and this had said the cups energy, the heart, the emotional energy imbalance, I would be saying something about, our thoughts, our feelings, our feelings and our emotions being out of balance when it comes to our integrity and when it comes to accepting peace for ourselves. But no, this is about our mind, and that tracks again with what just came up earlier. So for anybody whose mind feels out of balance when it comes to accepting the peace that will come when you stand in your integrity and when you act in your integrity. That's the thing. Integrity is an action. Integrity is an action. Integrity is not like, oh, well, I have my integrity because I am sitting over here thinking lovely thoughts about, whatever, the world. I'm over here in my integrity because I'm wishing that all animals get treated fairly. No, it's like, no, I'm in my integrity because my heart is so in alignment with the proper treatment of animals that I'm willing to act as a vegan. I'm willing to stand so firmly in my integrity that I am willing to become a vegan and get rid of the things that I love about the consumption of animal products. But I have peace because I am allowing this thought that I'm having that I shouldn't eat or consume animal products. I'm allowing that thought to become an action. I'm actually willing to stand on my word, to stand on my thoughts. And that's what's not happening right now. So many of you, what this is saying to me is your mind knows what you need to do. Your mind knows what is in integrity for you. Your actions just haven't caught up yet. And so that's great, right? Your mind is there. Your mind knows what you need to do to be in integrity. You just have to have your actions catch up with that. And we allow that for you right now. Like, you can do that. If you need somebody to tell you that it's not that hard and that you have permission to have your actions match your words and your mind and your thoughts, I give that to you now. If you've been wondering, oh, well, should I act this way or should I act that way? Act in the way that you know you should act based on your mental state and based on your mind and what your mind knows is the right thing to do. Don't doubt your mind. Don't doubt your mind that is telling you what is and is not okay and what is and is not in integrity. Okay, so what else can we do here to open us up fully? Unblock us, I guess is what I should be saying. Unblock us to our peace and unblock us to, again, the peace that will come when we stand in our integrity. So we've go back to chart 8B. This has come up a number of times today. So self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness, this comes up all the time. So for those of you who have been acting out of integrity and your lack of forgiving yourself is what's holding you back from achieving peace, let it go. Let it go. And you can say right now, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for every time I acted out of integrity. I forgive myself for every time I acted out of integrity, that I was not behaving with my integrity first. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And you have to mean it. You have to mean it. When you think about what it's been like for you to forgive someone else, and that true release, that true standing in forgiveness where you genuinely can say, yes, I forgive you and I accept you back into my heart. And I shift my perspective about you. That is also forgiveness, requires a shifting of perspective about the other person. When you have not forgiven them, you have a very clear way that you're thinking about this person. But when you forgive them, not only is forgiveness a heart action, forgiveness is a mind action. So think about the last person that you genuinely forgave. Think about how that had to operate inside of you. Like, where did it come from first? Where did it start first? Did it start in the mind first, or did it start in the heart first? Where was that? Well, when you think about that, okay, how did that go? Now I want you to apply that same thing to yourself. Okay, first it started in my heart. I just softened my heart to this person. Then my mind processed it. My mind came to a place of understanding for them. Okay, yep, I did that. I'm capable of doing that. I'm capable of forgiving them. I did it. I'm looking back on historically that I did that. And now I'm going to do the same thing for myself. Okay, now what percent are we blocked to our peace? 20%. What is the last thing we need to do here to just kick that final 20% out of here? Totally unblocked. We want to move forward after this clearing. I want you to watch this video and move forward in complete peace. Blocks to our physical expression. So we are blocked to peace because we are blocked to the physical expression of peace. We are blocked to physically allowing the sensation of peace to enter our body. So here's what I'm going to have us do. I'm going to have us do another little breathing exercise here. So again, just kind of let your exhale happen here naturally, allowing your body to soften, allowing your body to just really come into this moment and say, no, this is what I want for myself. I do want forgiveness for myself. I do want peace. I do want peace with my thoughts, my feelings, my actions. I want to feel balanced in all that I am doing, knowing that it is in integrity. And then I want you to call in, again, those feelings of self-hate, those feelings of unforgiveness, those feelings of judgment. And now I want you to slowly, slowly, slowly let them go. Soften your belly. And think about what it feels like in your body to forgive yourself. What does it feel like in your body to accept peace for yourself? Yeah, just breathe into that for a few more minutes. Okay, now what percent is the collective blocked to their peace? 0%. What percent is the collective open to forgiveness? 100%. Okay. So we're good, everybody. So now we say we're doing 100% of 100% of mop up, and our replacement energies are awareness, laughter, joy. Awareness, laughter, and joy. I love all of those so much. So those are your gifts for this evening, everybody. And if you accept them, I want you to say with me right now, I accept, am I going to say I accept acceptance? No. I accept awareness, laughter, and joy. I accept awareness, laughter, and joy. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of Clearing with Kate. I hope you stick around, like, follow, subscribe, do all those fun things. And if you're interested in having a one-to-one session with me, go to www.thepointedstone.com and reach out on my booking link or via email. All right. Good night for me and Rosie and Beezy, and we'll see you on another episode of Clearing with Kate.